Hello everybody and welcome back to Gregtech, New Horizons. Have you guys' day been good? Let me know down in the comments below. So last episode we went to Mars and got ourselves a lot of resources, which was quite a lot actually. I have removed most of the chests here, but as you can see, we are still maxed out on a lot of resources here. So we need to process them as soon as possible. But unfortunately, our setup over here is just too slow. And the only way to speed it up is by upgrading all of these guys here to multi-blocks. And yeah, to do that, we're going to need to fix our power. I said last episode that we're having an issue where we're just not producing enough benzene to keep up with all of the gas turbines, all the single block ones. And even upgrading to the EV tier ones is causing a bit of a strain on our power. And I've upgraded some of the blast furnaces here to EV as well, so or EV energy hatches, which means it's running at IV. So yeah, that is taking way too much benzene out of our system. So I've been doing a lot of work. I said I wanted to make like a power station / AE storage facility underground, and that's kind of what I've done. So I have moved our benzene production from here to underground, and I've also upgraded it to tier 4. So there's 2 levels now underneath our base. We have here the maintenance area. So this is where we're going to be able to access all of the pipes and cables that we're going to be running to machines. And right now, this is the only benzene that the system has. So I'm waiting to hook up the new turbines before I take away all these guys, because we're going to be running the power to the machines instead of the fuel to the machines. Hopefully that's the way I want to do it. And if we come down here, all over here is going to be for AE. And over here is going to be for power production. And as you can see, I've upgraded the 4 benzene setups. And each one of these guys are maxed out with the tier 4 schematic. This guy right here. And yeah, this guy's quite insane. He's got 4 distillation towers and no single block distilleries. And he's more or less the same other than that. So it is quite good. And because of that, we have produced so much benzene, and I had to upgrade these guys here to super tank tier 5. So we got a lot of benzene in here, which is crazy. And with 4 of these, I doubt we're going to have any issue with benzene for a long time. Right. So how am I actually powering this? Since our old tree farm used to be out here on the top of the factory, I've since moved it out here to the right. Or more north, like left of the factory actually. So this way. So if we come up here, I have a tunnel that leads up, and I've hooked up the cables and a new power cable. This is a vibrant capacitor bank, which can hold, what's that, 100 million RF and has an output and input of 100,000. So this thing's quite good. And that is being connected with crystalline energy conduit, which can have a transfer rate of nearly 41,000 RF, which is more than enough to be able to power 6 of our farming stations. And right now, yeah, I think our drawer for all the logs are full. So anytime this harvests wood, it's just going to drop it on the ground, which isn't great. But yeah, each one of these guys here also has an unbreakable lumber axe. I had to go and gather a bunch more of them, but that's fine. And actually, one of the quests back in the Stone Age, this one here, the animal farms, you can actually get yourself an unstable induced mattock, which is also unbreakable. So that's what I put in here. So yeah, I'm going to be clogged up on logs for a while. So there's a couple of things we need to do before we actually start using all this new benzene to generate power. And that is going to be making ourselves our battery storage or our power storage. And I want to do that in the form of a lapotronic supercapacitor. Hopefully this thing is actually really good. I've never used this or really seen it before, apart from like Mods 9, but that's not the same as this one really. So this guy, I have no clue how he works. Something about like he needs a power like usage over time, like he loses power. I'm not sure. That's something we're going to have to explore once we get this guy set up. So before we can do that, there's a couple of other things I want to get going before we get started. And that is being able to make ourselves the lapotronic energy orb. To make this, we're going to need a new type of circuit board and engraved lapotron chips. So the engraved lapotron chips, we need 24 of them, and then we get 3 per crystal. So how many of these guys are we going to make? The smallest size we can make is, it requires 9 of them. So 9 times 24, and I figured this out recently. You can actually do math in the chat. So if we do 9x 24, we're going to need 216 energy crystals. And if we divide that by 3, that's how many energy crystals we're going to need to craft. 72. So I've already gone ahead and made 75. So let's just grab out a bunch of these guys here. Actually, just chuck them all out if possible. Nope, can't do that. Bring them over here and throw them in the laser engraver with a sapphire lens. And that is going to be making us our engraved lapotron crystals, or the chips. And then they will go inside the circuit assembler with everything else here. So there's a lot of platinum components like fine wire and plates, which I already have enough of, which is good. But the actual circuit board, this is what's new. So to make ourselves a circuit board, we're going to need some epoxid. So we'll grab 64 buckets of that. And we're also going to need to set up a new thing, and that is to get ourselves some boron. Boron is a byproduct of processing salt and rock salt a certain way in the ore processing, and we get borax, this stuff right here. So I have nearly 4,000 of it, so I just want to grab as much as I can here. And we're going to use the same setup I was using earlier to turn saltpeter into nitrogen, which is this setup right here. So this is an advanced electrolyzer with some cells. It empties the fluid into here, sends the cells up around into this tank, empties it out, and sends the cells back in, takes from this drawer, and then stores the item output in here. So if we fill this guy here with borax, he will start producing this into, I think, sodium, water, and oxygen. Yeah, and we'll also get ourselves our boron. And I just want to lock the drawer here. And now with that, we need to mix this in an alloy smelter with glass dust. And I've got a bit of glass dust in here. So that and that in here will make borosilicate glass. And that is what we're going to use to make ourselves our new tier circuit board. And we're also going to need it to be able to make ourselves our supercapacitor. So 24 borosilicate glass bars, throw this through a wire mill on circuit 3 to turn it into glass fiber. There we go. Over here in a chemical bath with our epoxid, we'll make us our fiber reinforced epoxy sheet. There we go. And then we just need to combine this in a chemical reactor with sulfuric acid and aluminium. And that will give us our fiber reinforced circuit board. Then we just need to combine that with energetic alloy foil. And this needs to be done in a clean room. So we need iron trichloride and the circuit board. So let's grab the 6 of these. And actually, I think there's a quest for this now. So I need to get myself 16 glass fiber. More than enough there. Throw that in here and get myself, I think, 15 sheets it wants me to grab. Yes. All right, so we have 16. Then we just want to go in here and grab out the foil we're going to need. So here's the energetic alloy and a load of aluminium. And we can use our setup over here where we used them before. So circuit boards plus aluminium, that will go in here and it'll try and export it out into here, which then we can just take it out. I've already got myself 4 cells of iron trichloride. So we'll just fill you up with the aluminium, take you out, come over here. Oh, wait, I need to wait for 15. Oh, that's an optional task. Okay. So we'll start with the 3 of these. These can go in the chemical reactor in here. We'll just take out the molten glowstone, fill you up with the iron trichloride, and you get this and this. And off it goes. We'll just top this up with that. And now we're getting ourselves our new circuit boards. How many chips have we made so far? 33. Okay, this is taking, what, 22 seconds each? Yeah, we're going to be here a bit. So while that's crafting all that, the next thing we can work on is actually looking on how to unlock the IV chapter. And that is getting ourselves graphene. Graphene is something that isn't actually shown here because we actually haven't unlocked it. And that is this quest right here, vinyl acetate. This requires a quest back in the MV chapter that we never did, and that is to make acetic acid. And that is just oxygen and ethylene. So we'll just grab a couple of cells here, and we're making oxygen and ethylene over here, which is nice. So we can just grab, say, some oxygen from you, and we're getting ethylene up here as part of our distillation tower. Let's grab 2 sets of that just in case. And we just need to come over here to a chemical reactor and get these guys reacting. This guy here shouldn't be doing anything. So let's take you out and remove this. And what circuit do we need to start with? So ethylene, chemical reactor, acetic acid, either circuit 8 or 19. Let's go with circuit 19 so everything just stays in the cells. So circuit 19, oxygen in here with ethylene in here. There we go. So that will export out the cells out there. Let's turn off auto eject because I don't want it auto ejecting. So here is our acetic acid, which should unlock this quest here. Yep, which will now unlock this quest in here in the EV chapter. So we need to make ourselves vinyl acetate, and that is going to be the acetic acid with more ethylene and oxygen. So in chemical reactor, acetic acid, ethylene, oxygen doesn't require a circuit. Let's grab a little bit more oxygen and we might as well let this finish. All right, so we should have everything now. So acetic acid with ethylene and oxygen. That will make us now our vinyl acetate. That then I think just needs to be combined with oxygen to turn into polyvinyl acetate. All right, vinyl acetate. And does this require a circuit? Just circuit 1. So that in there, circuit 1 with some oxygen. All right, and there we go, polyvinyl acetate. That now needs to be combined with what? Acetone in a mixer. And is there ones that give way more? No, it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is going to be the advanced glue. And the advanced glue is going to be in an assembling machine with, let's see, phosphorus doped wafers and graphite dust to make graphene. And that graphene will be able to wire melt into 2 or 4x wire. And that's how we're going to be making our IV tier electric motors. I know most of the components we're going to need for the IV chapter. And speaking of which, I think I need more tungsten steel. Have I been smelting? Okay, I've been smelting up a small bit. I need to get more rods because I don't think I have enough rods to be able to make more rotors. But hopefully now, where are we going to get some acetate? I think we produce it over here as part of this setup. Yes, or acetone. And this doesn't require a circuit inside the mixer. And it doesn't seem it matters what type of mixer, but we'll throw it over into the EV one. So we'll just grab some cells and see how much this makes us. So, oh, we're making more lapotron dust in here. I guess we're kind of done with this. We don't need that much more. So we say acetone in here plus this, and that should mix. Maybe turn off the circuit number and remove all this stuff. Oh yeah, there we go. Now it's going really fast. 20 buckets already. All right, so the only thing we need is some graphite dust. Grab a bunch of that, and we're also going to need some phosphorus doped wafers, which I should have some up here. I do. Bring these across into here, and did this need a circuit number? Circuit 1. All right, and there we go. Now we're making ourselves our graphene. And once we've unlocked that, oh, I never grabbed the cell of that? Wait, how? Okay, there we go. Now I did it. And that's that quest done, and now we just need to grab the graphene, which takes 160 seconds. Okay, that's going to take a while. I guess while I'm waiting, I can claim all these loot bags. I'm not going to open these ones like I did with the other ones, because even after you commented, I realized once I did it, I really should not have done that. So I'm trying to save up as many as I can. I have 7 now, but yeah, that's nowhere near the 30 I did have before. Oh, and it looks like the IV chapter has unlocked, but it's not actually able to do anything yet. So once we get our first stack of graphene, we should be good. Oh wait, it wants me to grab 2 stacks. Oh yeah, I forgot. I need to continue the rest of these crystals over. How's our first circuit boards doing? 3 of them. Nice. We need 15 for the quest. And how many have we made in here? 13. In they go and craft. All right. We have all 16 circuit boards, which should unlock this quest. Yep. And now we can just grab out our engraved lapotron crystals from here, throw everything in, and now we're making our lapotronic capacitors. Cool. So what do we need to do next? Well, let's actually get ourselves our actual controller done. So we need the capacitor casing. We have enough to make 1 stack. This is a bunch of tantalum, blue steel, and is it blue steel or is it tungsten? Tungsten steel frame box. That's where all my rods went. So we have that now. The controller itself requires all of that, which we clearly have. Perfect. And the only thing we're missing now is the actual capacitors. Oh, and we're going to need some input and output for power. And I'm thinking I'm going to be using hatches and dynamos. I'm not sure what the buffered one means here, but it has an amperage of 4. So maybe? How are we doing on our silicon glass? Actually, yeah, we need more boron. Take charge. Whoa, we got a good bit there. Nice. Is this stuff used for anything else other than glass? I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Circuit compound Mark III. Okay, maybe it's used for something later on. The only way to get it right now is by processing salt, but I think we can get it from different ores from Phobos or Deimos. And I think it's one of these resources here. I can't remember, but I know I can get it from Phobos or Deimos. All right, let this make as much glass as possible. In here, I have a block extruder shape. Oh, I need to wait for this to finish. Okay, I could just grind it into a powder and then fluid solidify it, but I'll wait. How's our graphene doing? Nice, we have our 2 stacks to unlock this quest. Complete, and here we go. Now we've actually officially unlocked IV. So, IV machine hulls is going to require a bunch of tungsten steel plates, which we can make through the assembler for the cheaper recipe. And I think I already did do that, didn't I? Yeah, I made IV machine hulls already. A whole stack of them. Yeah, so that's nice. So that should unlock this quest here. Yep. And here is our first IV loot bag. Do I dare open this right now? What even can we get out of this? Oh, Oh, okay. This is actually quite good stuff. We can get some ender chests or even dimensional transceivers. This could be pretty good. I'll wait though. I'll wait. I'd love to get some fortune upgrades on these guys as soon as possible. So if we have all the machine hulls and everything already, let's just see how far we can get with making the other machines. So let's start by getting ourselves the advanced assembling machine. So this is going to require IV motor, which is the 4x graphene. So let's throw this graphene through the wire mill on circuit 4 for 4x. All right, all the rods are done. So back with the borosilicate glass. Okay, this is fast. I'll just make one stack because we will need to actually use this for some other stuff later on. If we wanted to actually make the tier 2 version of this, we'd actually have to coat the borosilicate glass in liquid titanium. And I think even for the mixer here, we need to do it in tungsten steel. And I think that is 8 ingots per glass, and we need 2 of them. So yeah, we're going to need quite a bit of this now. So half a stack of tungsten steel melted down. Is that right amount? So melt that down. And I think we have to do that in a fluid solidifier, right? So let's just empty this guy out. Molten tungsten steel in here with our glass. And we're doing 4 of it. Oh, wait, does this require an IV one or an EV fluid solidifier? It does. Okay, so an EV fluid solidifier. Can I make one of those? Ah, I can. I can make like 34 of them. All right, so do I have space over here? I do. So that with this and that. All right, all of the tungsten steel is done. So all we need to do now is actually make ourselves our mixer. So do I have tungsten rotor? No, I do not. Of course I don't. Okay, now I should have everything we need. So EV electric motor, we can make a bunch of those. Good. IV machine hulls. It says we don't, but we do. So here is our first IV tier machine. And yes, we can unlock the quest for that now. There we go. And the next one we're going to need is the assembling machine. Okay, I need to make the robot arms first. So the assembling machine, do we have everything for that? Oh yeah, we need pistons. And of course I don't have any tungsten steel parts. So I need to make small gears and plates. All right, so there's the 2 electric pistons. Is this all the... Okay, it has all the components in there. So, oh, the IV pump. Do I seriously need to make that? I think I do. All right, 2 robot arms. And what do I need for the pump? More tungsten steel components. Great. All right, 2 electric pumps. And that should be all of this complete, which should unlock the recipe, yeah, for the IV assembler now. And I should have everything for it. Yes, I do. Okay, now we've have our 2 IV tier machines, and I haven't explained why we need these 2. The reason we need an IV tier mixer is because I want to use HSSE turbines inside of our gas turbine. This guy is going to require HSSE, and HSSE needs an IV tier mixer to make. So I have HSSG dust, which we can already make. It's just molybdenum, chrome, tungsten steel, and vanadium. That then needs to be mixed in here with cobalt, manganese, and raw silicon to make the HSSE, and this requires IV. Now, to be able to cook this, though, we do need HSSG tier coils, and to make the coils for that, we're going to need a IV tier of assembling machine to make ourselves the coils. So that's why we needed these 2 machines here now. So let's go ahead and hook these up and take this chest here with us. And we're going to have to try and hook these up to power somehow. These are all HV. These 2 are EV. Okay, the best bet I'm going to have is coming over here. And since we have 4 amps of HV tier power in here, or EV tier power, I should be able to throw on top an extreme battery or transformer. Also, I did make myself some automatic snips. They're made out of shadow steel as well. So they're quite powerful. And they break these cables instantly, unlike the other cable. So extreme transformer, go here. We want you pointing up the way. So input IV, or is it the other way around? IV to EV. No, we want this the other way around. So insert any direction and output 1 amp of IV tier power. So I should be able to plug this mixer here and it should work. What circuit do I need? Circuit 1, and I just need all these parts here. And yeah, it's working. Okay, 35 seconds. And is it draining too much power? No, we seem to be putting input more power than we're producing. Oh, wait, no, we're kind of fluctuating. But we have enough power in here to last a while. All right, just let this run and craft everything we need. Right, and while that's doing that, to make ourselves our HSSG coil blocks, we're going to need molten TPV alloy. Let's see if we have any of that. We have, okay, at least 2 stacks. I just want to upgrade one of these guys here to the next tier. So that means I just need, how many blocks do I have here? It's like 26-ish, right? if this is 16 and then there's 10, yes, 26 blocks. So I just need 26 alloy. So that through the fluid extractor to melt it down. And that should be everything we need then. So once that is done mixing, we can make our coils. Unless it doesn't need that much power. Oh no, it does. You know what? We have enough here to make one turbo gas turbine. It only has a fuel efficiency of 50%, but you know what? One might be enough for now, just to get this done a little bit quicker. So we have benzene right here, gas turbine, and we'll just point it directly up into this guy. And in here with that, and then we just need our HSSG coils and our foil. If I said coils, I meant wire. So 2x HSSG on circuit 3. And is this going to craft it? Oh, it's not pointing up the way. There we go. Okay, yeah. I was wondering why I wasn't getting power. I thought I did turn it up already. But yeah, now we're crafting it. So just let those craft and we'll see if we have enough coils now in a moment. How long does this take? 30 seconds each. All right, a little while later, we have about 378 HSSG dust or HSSE dust. So all of the coils are done now. So let's go upgrade one of our things over here to be able to cook this stuff now. So what fluid does this need? Helium. Okay. And I've actually went ahead earlier before I started recording and actually added a second super tank right here with the helium. And I added a quad input hatch underground here. So it has two fluids so I can cook each one in each other. These guys here aren't doing anything at the moment, so let's just remove some of them here. Well, it's going to use the wand, but you know what? This is just as easy. All right, so it should be done now. So we can turn it on, throw these in here, and I guess we could throw these in here as well and get them cooking, right? It has EV tier power. It has the HSSG things, the coils, and it has... Oh, that's helium. Not... Oh. Yeah, do I have any helium? I have helium 3. Okay, I have a small bit of helium right here. I might be able to plug this in. Doubt it's going to last long though. So extract and insert, and that should be running now. Yes, okay, now it's running, and it takes 62 seconds each. Okay, and when they come out as hot, this cable here brings them up and plugs them into the vacuum freezer. So it's been a while later, and a lot of the HSSE has been smelted, and I'm just currently throwing it through the extruder here with the turbine blade extruder shape. And I'm making all of the turbine blades. So we need to combine these inside of an assembler EV with long tungsten steel to make the large one. So I made some extra in here, so we should be able to make these easy enough. Did these guys require a circuit number? No. Oh, currently this guy is doing something. I think I have a spare assembler over here. Right, so this should make us at least 4, nearly 5 turbines. And now we need to figure out exactly how we're going to set these guys up. So this is what I need to figure out. I've made a bit of an extra platform right here. This is where we're going to have our turbines. So let's start off by actually building ourselves our capacitor. So that's the controller, the casings, the lapotronic capacitor things, glass, and probably a bunch of other stuff. And I made myself this portable scanner. You can actually use it to like get information about a machine. I still actually don't know exactly what it does or how it uses. Currently uses 10,000 EU a tick. Yeah, I don't know what it means. So let's find the center of the chunk right here. And this is where we're going to build it from. So we'll surround the casing like so. And this needs to be double tall. And it needs to be, I think, 5 by 5. All right. So in the bottom middle here is going to be the controller. And the back, we're going to have our maintenance hatch. And then on top, then you add your 9 capacitors. And then you cover the entire top in the borosilicate glass. And yeah, so it's completely done now. So we turn it on. No, we can't do anything just yet. So if let's do some maintenance. And if we have a look now, if we turn it on. Okay, so you can see this guy here has a total capacity of 5 billion. Is that 5 billion power? That's 400 million. So yeah, about 5 billion EU. And it has none stored at the moment. Not 0% of the capacity used, and we have a passive loss of 31 EU a tick. I'm not too worried about that. That's basically less than 1 volt or 1 amp of LV power. So average in last 5 seconds 0 0, and time to empty, completely empty, or time to fill, I guess, once I fill it up. But to give it some power now, let's figure out what we're going to use. So we have here an EV 16 amp energy hatch. Accepts up to 20 amps from energy networks and provides 16 amps of power to the multi-block. So is this the one I'm supposed to use? Well, it seems to have formed, so I'm assuming that means the whole thing will now just accept 16 amps of power. There is also these other ones, like this one here, the 4 amp one, so I guess it's the same. And then I have these buffered ones. These are going to go on the actual gas turbine. So we have here a 4 amp output. So essentially, if this thing is done correctly and I have the calculations correct, we should be outputting 1 amp of IV power per turbine. So that should be more than enough. And we're using 4, so we need to make sure we have at least 16 amperage of a cable. And I want to make the 1X superconductor EV wire. Superconductor wire is just going to require a bit of platinum and uranium-238, and we've got quite a bit of uranium-238 thanks to processing thorium, and I think something else, uranite, and I think pitchblende, yeah, we got from Mars. So I should have enough of that, and yeah, we should be able to go straight into doing that. So let's start by making ourselves our first turbine. So here's the center of the chunk, and this thing is about 3 by 3 by, is it 4? Yeah, so it's 4 deep, and it's a 3 by 3. So, stainless steel turbine casing. This one is, since it's that, we'll have the controller on the center of the chunk here. Okay, so we're going to have our buffered energy hatch right here. We're going to have ourselves our maintenance hatch. Where should I have the maintenance hatch? Let's have the maintenance hatch on the opposite side of where the power or the fuel is going to be inputted in. Or should we just have it in the back? Yeah, let's put it on the back side here. And I'm thinking of having the benzene input on the right side of the thing. So we need an input hatch, and we can put this back here. And we're also going to need a muffler hatch, and this needs to be placed on the side. So theoretically now, this whole thing here should be constructed. We just need the controller. Why is it only one? Oh, now it formed. Okay, I was wondering why it was just one block in the center. So it has problems. So if we do some maintenance, and this guy is more or less ready to start going. And we're going to be able to run the power cable directly into this port right here. Right, it's been a while later, and I have built the other 4 turbines. So all we have to do now is actually plug in the actual turbine itself. And I've got all 5 of them right here. But we still need to calculate exactly how much benzene we need to input into each one of these turbines now. So there is a bunch of math you can do by converting like the base efficiency with the energy produced and the amount of benzene power you get from 1 millibucket. But there's an easier option. I'll leave a link for this down in the description, but I found an online calculator. And all you have to do is just insert your material in here. So we're using HSSE. And we're using the large rotor size. And then over here on the large gas turbine, we're using type mode. Fluid type is benzene. So according to this, our fuel flow needs to be 13. And that will produce us just shy of 4 amps of EV power, which will make it 1 amp of IV tier power. So if that's the case, then each one of the input hatches has a fluid regulator LV, and I've already set it to minus 13. That's the flow rate we're going to want to use. So all we have to do is put in our turbine, and before we turn it on, we need to hook this guy here up to power. So what we're going to use is superconductor wire, and this is the 1X, but we're going to convert this here into the 4X, and then we're going to connect this right here. The reason we're using 4X here, because we have a max amperage of 32. This guy here can accept 20 amps, and with the amount of turbines here, each one producing 4, this guy, the cable would burn out if we were just to use the 1 amp or the 1X, because there's only 8 amps and we're producing like 20. So all we have to do then is each one of these guys are producing 4. So we can just use the 1X from here and hook it up to the 4X cable then. And that should work fine. Actually, do I want to run this cable underground maybe? I'll figure it out later. Chances are we're going to be upgrading this cable anyway to like IV. But we need to go to the new moons first. Okay, and they should be all connected now. So the only thing left to do is put in the turbine and connect up the potent pipe. I should have some spare potent over here. And we can also use the scanner here to be able to see what's going on inside. So everything is ready. We have this set to -13. Yep. So connect the potent pipe. Fluid shutter it in. And this guy should be ready now. If I turn it on, we should see power being generated and stored inside the battery. Generating power, running perfectly. Oh, it actually has a nice noise. But if we look at the top there, you can see the efficiency is slowly climbing. Once it reaches 100% efficiency, we should see 8,190 EU. As you can see, it's already jumped up to IV tier power, which is crazy. Everything still looks fine. So if we look inside the battery now, we can see it is slowly filling. So we already produced nearly 1.4 million EU, and it's going to take 13 to 14 hours to fill just with the one turbine. So let's connect up the rest of them. All right, so all of them are online now. And if we look in here, it's only going to take 3.5 hours to fill. And we're inputting in about 24,000 EU, which is insane. So how are we going to transport this power now to the base, like all the machines up above? Well, the way I want to do it, since we're going to have like some cable loss if we don't use superconductor, and the chances are we're probably just going to be going straight into IV tier machines, this cable here will not be able to support it unless we were to like use a transformer to step up the power, but that won't really work. So what we have right here is on behind this, we have a 16 amp EV dynamo. We have this guy right here, an EV 16 amp dynamo hatch that will output out 16 amps of EV power. We have here an EV high amp transformer, which converts 16 EV amps into 4 IV amps. Then that goes up into another converter, which turns those 4 IV amps into 1 amp of LUV. So the only thing we need to do then is, if we just move this, I've been slowly making some HSSE or G wire, and this is what we're going to use to transform the power around the base. So all we have to do is just run this cable, and then at the end of it, before we connect to any machines, we'll use a high amp transformer to transform it back down. So in here, I have this guy here. So this will transform from 1 amp of LUV back into 4 amps of IV tier power. And the reason we're using LUV is because of the amount of power this cable can transfer, 32,768. And with that, we shouldn't have any loss once we transform it back to IV. So this cable here has a loss of 2 EU per volt. So a couple of stacks of that, we're still going to have a perfect amount of IV once it reaches where it needs to go. So hopefully I've done this correct. So this is output LUV, which is this cable here. And all I have to do now is just run this cable up. And I'm just going to disconnect it here temporarily. But the only thing we have to do now is to basically just run it to wherever we need it to go. So let's just run it over to there, because then we're going to have to get rid of all of the pipes and stuff here, because we're no longer needing this now. And we're down to our last 12 million benzene in just a single system right here. So time to upgrade the power. But the only current issue is right now, all of our machines is running more or less HV. So I'm going to have to make all the new machines, but the main thing I want to get connected right now is the blast furnaces, so I can keep making materials. Or maybe I should hook it up later once I've made all the machines. You know what, that actually might be a better idea. So what we're going to do is just let the thing fill up, and everything should be running at 100% efficiency right now. Yeah, and we're barely using any benzene. You can see like the distillation towers have not even turned on yet. Maybe only a couple of them have, but more or less none of them have turned on. And we are already at 3%, nearly 4% full. So we're producing a lot of power. Right, and if you spot anything I may have done wrong, because this is my first time doing this, so if there's anything I've done wrong, please let me know so I can fix it for next episode. Like right now, everything should be fine, and we'll figure out the redstone now next episode, like having automatic turn off and turn on for the turbines when this thing gets nearly full, because otherwise we'll just be voiding excess power. So I'm going to end it there. Hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell when you're at it then as well. So, without any further ado, goodbye.